The refrigerator sitting in your kitchen right now has an expiration date stamped into it at the factory, and nobody at the store was going to tell you that. Not the salesperson, not the warranty card, not the glossy brochure with the smiling family and the perfectly lit produce drawer. You were handed a timeline, and you had no idea. Here's the number that should bother you. The average refrigerator purchased before 1990 lasted between 22 and 28 years. The average refrigerator purchased after 2010 lasts between 8 and 13. Same product, same job, same kitchen, less than half the life. And somehow, adjusted for inflation, you're paying more for it. That's not progress. That's not innovation. That's something else entirely. And the answer is buried inside the one component that runs every single minute your refrigerator is plugged in. 40 years ago, a refrigerator was a financial decision you made once, maybe twice, in your entire life. The units coming out of American and European factories in the 1970s and early 1980s were overbuilt by modern standards. Commercial-grade compressors, copper refrigerant lines, steel shelving you could stand on. These weren't appliances. They were fixtures. Repair technicians from that era will tell you the same thing. The machines were designed to be fixed, not replaced. Parts were universal. Service manuals were public. A $40 repair kept a unit running for another decade. Your grandmother didn't replace her refrigerator because she redecorated. She replaced it because she wanted to, not because she had to. Something changed in the late 1990s, and it wasn't subtle. It was a calculated pivot that the entire industry made almost simultaneously. Wall Street discovered appliances, manufacturing moved offshore in waves, and a quiet philosophy took hold inside engineering departments across every major brand. APE, MISIS, philosophy called value engineering. That's the corporate term. What it actually means is this: find every component that's costing us money and make it cheaper, not better, not more efficient, cheaper. The goal wasn't to build a refrigerator that lasted longer. The goal was to build one that lasted just long enough to clear the warranty window, and then sent you back to the store. And the place they started was the compressor. Let's start where the money is. The compressor. In a refrigerator built before 2000, the compressor was typically a piston-driven unit. Heavy, loud by today's standards, and almost absurdly durable. Repair technicians describe them as over-engineered. Industry data suggests many of those units ran continuously for 20-plus years without failure. The compressors going into most new refrigerators today are linear or rotary compressors. Smaller, lighter, cheaper to manufacture by roughly $30 to $60 per unit. On paper, they're more energy efficient. In practice, they run hotter, they cycle more frequently, and field service records show failure rates significantly higher than their predecessors by the 8 to 12-year mark. That $50 in manufacturing savings costs you $400 to $900 in replacement costs on a component that should have lasted the life of the machine. Now, the manufacturers have a rebuttal ready, and you've probably heard it at the appliance store. Inverter compressor technology, variable speed, more efficient, quieter, smarter. And to be fair, inverter compressors are a real technological advancement. But here's what they don't mention. Inverter compressors are controlled by an electronic inverter board, a circuit board mounted near the compressor that regulates speed and power. That board, in humid kitchen environments with heat cycling constantly around it, has its own failure rate. Independent repair data shows inverter board failures now account for a significant share of refrigerator service calls on units under 10 years old. So what they gave you with one hand, efficiency, they quietly took back with the other, fragility. You traded a simple mechanical system for a complex electronic one, and complex electronic systems fail in ways you cannot fix with a wrench. Here's what makes the compressor problem so financially devastating. The sealed system. In most refrigerators manufactured today, the compressor, the condenser, the evaporator, and the refrigerant lines are what's called a sealed loop. Integrated, unified, non-serviceable. When a repair technician opens a modern refrigerator for a compressor issue, they're not replacing a bolt-in unit anymore. They're cutting lines, recovering refrigerant, brazing new connections. Work that requires EPA certification, specialized tools, and a minimum of $600 to $1,100 in labor before parts are even discussed. On a refrigerator that cost you $1,200 at the store, that repair math doesn't work. And the manufacturers know it doesn't work. They designed it that way. None of this happened by accident. And that's the part that should make you stop and think. When industry analysts began documenting the decline in appliance lifespan through the early 2000s, the response from manufacturers wasn't to reverse course. It was to deepen it. Because the data they were seeing, their data, showed something profitable. A consumer who buys a refrigerator every 10 years instead of every 25 years is worth 2.5 times more over a lifetime. Warranty programs, extended service plans, installation fees, haul-away charges. Every replacement cycle generates revenue streams that a 28-year machine never could. Consumer Reports began flagging reliability declines. Repair technicians started speaking out publicly, and the industry kept going because the incentive to stop simply didn't exist. And the trap goes deeper than the refrigerator itself. Many major appliance brands that appear to be competitors are owned by the same 2 or 3 parent corporations. When you leave one brand after a bad experience and switch to another, there's a meaningful chance you've moved from one product line to a sibling product line under identical ownership. The engineering philosophy travels with the ownership. The value engineering standards transfer, the target lifespan, follows the same internal roadmap. You think you're voting with your wallet, but if the ballots are all printed by the same company, the election isn't quite what it looks like. This isn't just a refrigerator problem. It's the template. Washing machines, dishwashers, HVAC systems. The same shift from serviceable mechanical components to sealed, integrated, electronically dependent assemblies happened across the entire appliance category inside a roughly 15-year window. The repair-to-replace math was deliberately tipped, not by accident of innovation, but by design of business model. And the proof is sitting in landfills across the country. Millions of machines, 8 to 12 years old, that were junked not because they couldn't be fixed, but because fixing them cost more than the manufacturers made it worth to try. So what do you actually do with this information? First, before you buy any refrigerator, search for its service manual. Manufacturers who want you to repair their product make it easy to find. Manufacturers who don't make it nearly impossible. That search takes 90 seconds and tells you everything. Second, mechanical controls over touchscreens wherever possible. Every display, every sensor, every Wi-Fi module is a failure point with no mechanical equivalent. Fewer electronics means fewer ways to die. Third, check the compressor warranty separately from the general warranty. Some manufacturers offer 10-year compressor coverage. Others offer 1. That gap is not marketing. That's a confession. You're not going to fix the entire appliance industry today, but you can stop funding the part of it that's counting on your ignorance. You know what the sealed system means now. You know what value engineering costs you. You know where to look before you ever set foot in a showroom. That knowledge is worth more than any extended warranty they'll try to sell you at checkout. If this changed how you look at what's running in your kitchen right now, hit subscribe, because next time we're pulling apart the washing machine industry, and what we found about the direct drive motor swap is going to make today look like a warm-up.